Hey, welcome to Cheaper TV, the show that helps you get the most for your money so that you get the most for your Jeep. On this week's episode, I'm going to join my local Jeep club on my very first off-road experience. Why don't you watch this episode, see what it's like, because I know for some of you out there, you probably haven't taken your Jeeps off-road yet, and you've been considering joining an off-road club. Well, that's what we're going to look at today. Now, I'm just going to go get my friend Rick, who's going to be riding shotgun with me today and doing the camera work. So let's go.
It's going to be relatively slow, but we're going to take...
So Rick and I arrived at the meeting place by 9 a.m. and I wasn't surprised to see all the new Wrangler JLs and JTs. And we were there just in time for the initial instructions.
We are going to do kind of a 101 along the way, so you're going to get the idea of what you should do before the trail starts, and then on the trail, shifting it into four low, how to shift it into four low, that type of thing, right? For some of us,
So after those initial instructions, we were on our way to the trailhead. We were pretty lucky too because it was a beautiful day. Dave, the leader of the group, explained to all of us how deflating the tires a little bit will provide better grip and a smoother ride. He also explained how disconnecting the sway bar links will also afford better articulation and better contact with the trail. So we got busy.
that slide till it hooks into the valve tip, pull out the valve.
So you can reach it.
Yep. So there you see the sway bar link, and that's the bolt that you take out to disconnect the link, and then you just zip tie it somewhere to stay out of the way. And once everybody was set, we were ready to start rolling. It was pretty exciting in the beginning with the anticipation, not really knowing what's going to come, being a newbie run and all. At the first obstacle, Dave would help us drive through and direct our steering so we could straddle any obstacles so as not to bottom out on the Jeeps. The extra articulation afforded by disconnecting the sway bar links helped us navigate this obstacle. There were many signs along the trail to remind us that during the winter time, this is a snowmobile trail.
Well, now we can talk about these signs again.
The water obstacles were nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time. Of course, this Jeep owner may use a different term after having gotten stuck in the mud. Dave used this as a teachable moment to instruct us on tips and tools to help in such a situation.
Job is to hook everything up. Keep coming. Okay, pull forward. Okay, whoa. That's perfect. And just start pulling. Yep.
Thanks to Dave, that looked easy.
Go a bit further. Okay, Tony, that's good.
And benefiting from that experience, I'm able to keep my two left tires on dry land and get through the mud puddle no problem. So at this mud hazard, we keep our right-hand side tires on firm terrain. Aside from the obstacles and the trail to enjoy are some lovely bridges and meadows.
Go too slow.
And halfway into the day, we found a beautiful spot to stop and enjoy some lunch. This gave us time to take a breath and get to know each other. And then off onto the trail we go. This part of the trail offered a different challenge with steep hills and bedrock to traverse. At this point of the trail, I felt very comfortable having the Jeep off-road and being able to enjoy nature in its unspoiled state. Another thing that I learned on the Newbie Run is that you have to make sure that you share the trail. And just as I was getting more comfortable, we've reached the end of the trail. And it's time to button the Jeep back up. So aside from using an air compressor to reinflate the tires to the proper pressure, we had to use our 18mm wrench to reinstall the bolts to connect the sway bar links. Careful inspection under and around the Jeep after this Newbie Run showed no major damage, and what appeared to be scratches was just dust marks made by wet branches. So there you have it, my first Newbie Run trail experience with my Jeep Club. Is it what you thought it would be like? If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments section below. And for those interested, the Jeep held up fine, and so did I. Now for some cheaper Jeeper tips. For this week's tip segment, I want to talk to you a little bit about disconnecting the sway bar links. If you're interested in doing some more off-roading, you may want to invest in getting a sway bar disconnect kit, in which case the bolt here doesn't have to be removed by an 18mm socket each time. You'll have a quick disconnect mechanism, which will allow you to just quickly disconnect your sway bar link. And some of the kits even come with a bracket for which you can secure the sway bar link. So that might be a handy gadget to have. However, if you're not going to do that and you just plan to off-road once in a while, then it's not too bad to disconnect that bolt with an 18mm socket. Now, here's the tip that's very important. You can see on this side, this is the passenger side of the Jeep, there's a little nut flange right here. That holds the nut for you. You don't have to get a wrench in there. You just have to put a ratchet on this bolt and unscrew it, and that bolt will come off. But when it does, make sure you grab this flange with the nut that's attached to it. Don't leave it in there or you'll lose it. In contrast, let's take a look at the other side. Here on the other side, you can see there's the 18mm bolt right there and the nut on the other side. So that one is obvious, and keep them in a safe place to the end of your off-roading. Now the tip that I use when washing the Jeep is to run water over the Jeep and just release the mud off the surface of the Jeep with your hand, because if you used a cloth and you dislodged a grain of sand that was stuck to the paint, the cloth and your motion would be rubbing that sand into the paint. Whereas if you use your hand when you feel a grain of sand that's dislodged, you'll help the water wash it off. So that's a little tip on making sure you help get the mud off the Jeep easily without damaging the paint too much. And now here's my doors after I have just hand washed the Jeep. And you can see there aren't any of those nasty scratches that I was showing before. There's still some mud in hard to reach places, but once I've done the hand wash to it, I'll come back with the pressure wash and a foam cannon to get at the rest of it. But I just wanted to share that tip at how to remove that stuck on mud using your hand first rather than using some kind of a cloth.
And now for subscribers' tips.
Hey Cheaper Jeeper TV, I'd recommend a more robust tire inflator air compressor like the MV50. It's made by various companies. Smittybilt seems to be the popular one at the moment, and while they don't use the MV50 model, any local off-road shop will point you in the right direction. They are just about bulletproof, and for the money will go far faster than any cigarette lighter compressor and last far longer, particularly as you move to larger tires. Signed, Justin Flater. Hey Justin, thanks so much for the tip, especially after my newbie off-road experience. My plan is to find a compressor, something like what you just described. I'll have to feature it in an upcoming episode. Thanks again. Hey, that's it for this week's episode. I hope you liked it. If so, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And if you think you know somebody who might like this video, then please share it with them so they might enjoy it as well. A special shout out to the Tri-City Jeep Club, of which I'm a member and who were in this video. A fine group of people. Thanks, guys. Until next time, I'm Dino for Cheaper Jeeper TV, the show that helps you get the most for your money so that you get the most for your Jeep. Stay well, be safe, and take care.